graduation. I'm going to go fairly quick because I want you to take away. For example, the first pathway is about 4 semesters, assuming you have finished a couple of classes in design. So we start with this semester. You're supposed to take 300 this class. You should take 328, and you will take one of the 3 concentration, what actually should be called emphasis class. 351 is web design. 321 is interactive media and games. 304 is publication design. That's the visual design track. Okay. Then the semester afterwards, you should take service learning. You should take the second course in that sequence. The philosophy behind the 300 and 400 is this. The 200 class is supposed to build kind of solid hands-on skill. You know how to operate a computer, you know how to do basic programming, you know how to do the media tools. Then 300, you start to really homing a very professional level skills, but we don't teach the software anymore. You have to kind of learn the detail by yourself. You start doing a small project. Then in the 400 class, you're supposed to do a pretty substantial project. So the 400 level class is more project-based. Then all CD students still need to do one programming and one computing class. Typically, students do 221. That's scripting class. We use, in the past we use ActionScript. We are switching to HTML5 and the CSS3. 231 is a very solid traditional C++. If you're thinking about doing real development in your career, even you are CD, you might want to take C++ instead of script. Script is a lot of times still doing the visual side. The C++, you start doing the boring hello world. You will not see any graphics. You're going to just deal with the programming. But that is the foundation. Then you need to take a computing and networking class. Most computer science student will take that. Most CD student will take that, although the CD student can choose. The 236 is more of a gentle class. What kind of technology, computing technology, a designer need to know to be an effective designer. The computer architecture is a classic computer science computer architecture. We're going to talk about how CPU works, how register within the CPU are designed, how computing are done in the CPU, how CPU connect to the memory connect to the hard drive, how network intertwine with all these different devices, and we will write assembly code to really make sure you know, when you open up the chip, what's going on inside. So it's a pretty heavy computer architecture class. Your senior year, we recommend you take an ethics class. Why is ethics important in our discipline? Or maybe it's not. Zach, what do you think? Why is ethics important? Is required both the CD and CSIT?
Because it's really good to be informed about your career choice, I guess.
There are many, many pitfalls in your career that you can easily make offense. You might hurt people, or you can go to jail. Because especially for computer science, you have access to a lot of database, right? If you're working for this university's IT department, you know Ricardo's social security, you know his grade, you know all his offenses, all his academic records, you know his probably bank statement. So people in the computing field have access to all these privacy data. And also you have the power to design website or design system that potentially can hurt people. So you need to have at least a solid thinking about ethics to when you have to make a difficult decision. You at least have some theoretical background helping you decide yes or no. For example, how many people went to China? No, you should go. It's an interesting place. Okay, and yes, she went to Taiwan. It's kind of culturally China, but it's not as controlled. There is no Google hangout in China. There is no Twitter. There's no YouTube. There's no Facebook. I was shocked. And when I went away, and half of my work disappeared. But there's Yahoo. All the Yahoo services available within the China proper. Why is that? Why Google side doesn't work in China? Yahoo works. Why do you think?
Because the Chinese Communist Party pushed them out because they want to control within their dragon wall.
That's a new name, Dragon Wall. So, for example, when the local law in China says all the information company like Google and Yahoo has to provide the email content, email address to the government. It's the law. It's the law of the land. In the US, the privacy is a lot more protected. So Google decided they want to follow the US law, not letting the government access those information. Yahoo said, well, we want to follow the law of the place that we do business with, right? So about 8 years ago, there's a Tibetan dissident. They use Google email to pass information back and forth, probably have some anti-government information. So if you are running Google email service, should you provide that information to Chinese government or not? Aaron, what do you think?
I would say I don't try to the government should be able to have access to those emails.
But it's the law. It's the law of that land.
I don't like Google for leaving because, so even though Yahoo said yes, we will give it to the government, Google has the right to say no, we don't want to do that.
So throughout your career, there will be opportunity. There will be a time that you have to make that judgment call. Sometimes the law is not clear. So we want you to have a basic understanding how you as a professional can apply the ethical standard and ethical thinking. Okay? So that's why it's important. Zach, do you get it?
I have a question.
Sure.
And this ethics class, you said it's called?
Yeah.
Might there be some coverage, I would assume, of basic simple things that we should watch out for when we're creating websites and designing, like, because the whole world's going to see this. And certain parts of the country, certain parts of the world, some things are offensive that they aren't to us, like the thumbs up.
So they will cover some kind of different culture. It will be somewhat limited, but there will be some kind of culture that you can offend them, put some video or audio on the website. Or some practice in the US is pretty normal, but in a different country it will be very different. We will cover some privacy law, especially the universal design, meaning you have to design something, either equipment or website, that for people with a disability, they still have some way to access. Right?
Well, I'm going to add that in case we don't get that information, it's good for all of us to research and find out what's offensive in other countries and what we don't want to do.
The way we see you as a student or graduate from our program is you are not the mechanics that just get the graphics posted on the line or connecting wire. You will make decisions. Some of you will make major decisions for all of us. So you need to get yourself thinking about, I'm not only going to learn the skills to write program, I'm going to be truly a professional or even a leader in the technology. I will make decisions. And often your decision impact a lot of other people. So that's the first semester of the junior year. In junior year, you will start an all very important capstone. Capstone, the first semester that's in the junior year, in the senior year, will be doing the proposal. So during that 16 weeks, you will talk to the client, look for a problem, talk to the faculty, write a pretty comprehensive proposal, meaning you have what's the problem, what's the current solution, what's your proposed solution, the timeline, the budget, the risk management. What if that technology doesn't work? Or what if the client decides to change the idea? How do you deal with those? And the last 3 or 4 weeks in that semester, you will build a a feasibility study, a simple prototype to make sure faculty look at it and say, yes, the problem is solvable and you have the necessary skill to do it. Then in 401, That's the very last semester. You finish that capstone. The finished capstone has 3 parts. You actually finish the project. You document the process. So later on, people want to kind of examine the detail. They want to follow your design. They have the documentation to follow. You will put together a presentation. That's a pretty big deal. Usually in this room or even bigger room next door, it will be your classmate, the younger student, industry, your parents will come and it will be packed, and you will have a high pressure of 10 minutes to talk about your capstone. And often there are many students do not remember anything they learn in class, especially this class, because they are reading their Facebook. But they all remember that intensive experience of capstone. So it is a tradition in ITCD. We put a capstone as a very important process in your learning. So you will, today's assignment, you will put a paragraph. We can change it anytime. You'll put a paragraph saying, that type of career or capstone, that is what I intend to do. Okay, just a paragraph. Then if you'll take an elective in your domain during that last semester. Okay, so that's kind of the 2-year learning plan. And during the week 5th and week 6 in this semester, you're given an ILP, will do the very clear, very precise design of your learning for the next 2 years, 1.5 years.